So we have been playing Lifetime on the radio, and it's great. I mean, I just put it, we just put it into heavy rotation. It's wonderful.
Oh, thank you
Um,
so much.
when it's your first solo song and your first solo album, when did you decide to make a solo album?
I think it kind of, it's not so much I feel like I decided. It feels a bit more like it was a longer process than that. It kind of I think when I think about it, it seems like it was quite obvious that I was writing a lot of songs and that they, I needed an output for them. But at the time, I think maybe I was just not feeling confident enough to say, oh yeah, I'd make an album by myself. So when the XX finished their last tour, like maybe about two years ago now, we were like, we were kind of pretty tired from all the traveling, which I'm missing very much. But at the time, I was, wanting to be still in one place. I really wanted to keep writing, but I didn't feel quite ready to. We just finished promoting an album. I wasn't sure what to write for. So I sought out opportunities to co-write and be part of other people's projects. And I really wanted to learn and get some new experiences. And so I had some great experiences working with some different people in different situations, working with other artists like Jenny Beth and King Princess and Mark Ronson. And I learned a lot from those people. And then I was writing these songs sort of beyond that, more sort of hypothetically for other people. And sometimes you do sessions and it's like, who is this song for? It's quite abstract. And in doing that, I was writing these songs, and it was I was kind of imagining who it would be for. And I was actually just being very honest and thinking someone else would sing it. And some people around me said, are you sure you want to give this song away? Because it's a very personal song. It sounds like what you're going through right now. I was like, yeah, let's give it away. And in the end, I sort of realized, actually, I've got quite a lot of songs. Maybe I can keep hold of them, and maybe I can do an album. But it just took me a while to get there.
Yeah. What did you learn from working with those artists? What's something that you learned working with like Jenny Beth?
Jenny Beth is such an intelligent and brilliant person to sort of want. She really wants to get to the depth of what it means. Like what is. She her way of writing and her way of sort of dissecting situations is just so unlike anyone I've ever met. And she really sees things in such an interesting perspective. So for me, I really, what I liked about working with her is we'd have conversations and I would just end up starting to write down on my phone almost what she was saying, because she was describing a situation and I wrote down exactly what she said and I showed her and she said, did I say that? And I said, that's exactly what you said. That's pretty much some lyrics right there. Let's explore that. And that was cool to adapt into just, she's so word spaced. So it was like what she said, and then sort of encouraging her to push into singing more in a different way, like more melodically. And it was quite fun to, ask her to sort of sing with more like melody. And whereas, and because I also love that she's so good at like this powerfully like speaking and shouting the lyrics,
right.
And she can actually sing so beautifully, which is what I was really excited to realize. And so that was a fun challenge. Sorry.
What's one of the things that she said that you wrote down? I'm trying to think because there are quite a few things we worked on that didn't make the album. So, I think we were just talking. I think we talked about our different ways of feeling about like relationships and romance. And like for me, I would say like I get carried away with my emotions. And she was talking to me about like, don't trust your feelings, they change. And that became the song. I was like, that's great. Like I want to write about that. Because I felt differently to her. I was like, I do trust my feelings. And she's like, but wait, like, and yeah, so that was one thing. Jenny Beth, don't trust your feelings, they change.
Yeah.
Well, on the line of feelings, in Lifetime, you say once in a lifetime something matters. I want to tell you that this matters to me. What were you talking about there? Well, like in the XX, we've kept it quite open in ways to keep it abstract so you can really adapt it. And with that line, some of the songs I've written are a lot more like storytelling and much more like you could be like, this is my experience. But I think that line, I guess in the moment, it just meant this moment exactly that I was having a person in time. This really matters to me. But yeah, I want it to be interpretable for whatever the moment that matters to you is.
Yeah. Was it different writing for the XX than writing for you? Did you feel like you could be more personal?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still writing just for me, so it's like an exploration. The album isn't finished, but I think what I realized is with some of the songs I started writing using she. I love her, because that's just something that's felt very much that's the normal for me. And that's something I never did with the XX, and we always have kept it you, I, we, they, and again with that theme of keeping it really open. But I think with King Princess and being around her and she's not afraid, that really resonated with me. And I think it was just cool to see her, and she's so young and she's so like got so much confidence in herself and like in her like life, and I just that inspired me a lot.
I remember seeing King Princess and being like, I don't know if I've ever seen someone with more confidence on the stage. More confidence in who she is.
Yeah, she's incredible. She's very ahead. Before she put any music out, and we did a session together, and I was like, wow, she just has so much enthusiasm and like she just knows so much, and she's young. I was kind of definitely pretty blown away by that.
So what is like one song recently that you like couldn't stop listening to or have been really stuck on?
A song that I really love is by a really good friend of mine called High, and she released an EP called Put Your Head Above the Parakeets in the past few months, and the song is called Head Above the Parakeets. And I've just I really missed going out clubbing and hearing loud music, and it just feels like it reminds me of that time and being DJing, and she's been really supportive of me, and we've been on some of the same lineups, and it's been it just kind of takes me back to that time, which I'm missing at the moment.
Yeah. Clubbing like isn't a huge thing. It isn't like nearly as big here as it is in England. Why do you think that is, or why do you like it so much?
I've noticed when I've come to the US that it's like a slightly different experience, I guess. Like, I guess I've spent more time in bars or like going to I haven't been properly clubbing so much when I've been on tour. But I think in the UK, it feels like it's really part of it's just sort of part of the furniture. I don't know, is that the word? It's kind of part of history, like to the kind of nightlife and like clubbing. And like for me, I started going out when I was about 16, which was quite fun. But obviously, I think I was underage, and 18 is the age you can get into clubs in the UK. But those experiences of going to a club and just listening to music loud and meeting people that wanted to be there, it's like more like it's like a gig experience, but then like a bit more. You get a bit more lost in the music, I guess, because it's less about just watching a band, which is I was so obsessed with going to live music as well at that age. But there's something about clubbing where you can sort of be introduced to music that you wouldn't have known you were going to see. Whereas at a gig, like, okay, this is the band I want to see, or that. So I like that with clubbing. You can be taken on a journey by the DJ, and then you might end up liking something you don't know. And I love that melting pot of people and music.
I never really thought about that, the like discovery aspect of the club.
Yeah, totally. I mean, for me, I think that's like one of the most exciting things is just being like, what is this song? And just being there and a bit immersed in it, and I guess now you can Shazam it. But yeah, before just being like, what is this song? And just really just like having to just be there and enjoy it. It was really cool.
That's great. So you said that you were in the process of writing the rest of the album. What is the rest of the album about? What is like a big theme of the album?
Um, I mean, pretty much everything I've ever written has been a love song, I would say, and that's something that Jenny Beth and I discussed quite deeply. And considering, a lot of the things that she has written is not just a love song, and I love that, and I'm really inspired by that. But I think that my favorite topic is just human connection and like exploring that. And this album that I'm writing is very autobiographical in the sense that it's kind of documenting a relationship that I had when I was 18, 17, and we broke up and we're now back together. And so it's this kind of there's a lot of kind of talking, just like realizing that, and how things come around, and exploring life in between. And some of it's just quite playful, some of it's still emotional. And I guess I recently made a playlist called Emotional Music to Dance To, because I realized that's essentially what I want to make. Yeah.
That's incredible. It must have been a real trial to decide to go at the relationship again after having ended it the first time.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was one of those ones where just the timing was off. We were young and it wasn't the right time. And I think it's been interesting having the whole experience of just having your whole 20s apart and then kind of getting back together and just being like, I remember you, but then having all of these experiences, and it's cool. But it's also brought me back to that time when I was sort of 18 and 19, and the music I was into and the experiences I was having. And so it's kind of musically referencing this kind of pop dance stuff that I was into then, and when I first got into clubbing. So it's kind of, without meaning to, it kind of links in thematically, musically as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
You changed so much in those years. It's like I think of people I dated at that time, or me. It's like I am a different person.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's amazing what can change in that time. But it's been fun to revisit to explore that in the music. And she is the music she introduced me to back then is still it's a huge inspiration to me, and it's nice to be able to make music that I hope she will like too.
What is the biggest artist that she introduced you to?
She likes a lot of like Italo disco and like obscure disco music that is like, I remember just being like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever heard. The song that makes me think of her is by the Alessi brothers, called Seabird. And that's like that song really reminds me of when we first met, and like it's such a beautiful song. And so that obviously that's not quite in the same disco world, but like that song for me is very much her song.
I love that song.
Yeah.
That's he has a lisp, and they don't try to hide it. Yeah. That song is so sweet. Oh, that's absolutely one of my favorites too. Oh, I love that.
Oh, that's great. You like it too.
Yeah. As we get to the end of the interview here, inevitable, what's in the future for the XX?
Well, yeah, I've been asked that a lot, and I can sure. reassure everyone that it's not the end of the XX, and it's just it's exciting to have a bit of a chance to learn some new stuff to bring back to the XX, because I've only ever worked with Oliver and Jamie my whole life, or adult life, literally,
Only
and yeah, I mean, it's we've been in the XX since about 16. I've only ever made music with them properly, in terms of exploring personally what I would want to make. And I think it's just a fun opportunity to go and learn from other people, work with other people, and bring that back to the XX, because I think it refreshes it. Like when Jamie came back from doing his solo record and touring, and he came back with a new perspective and new like skills, new like outlook on things. And Oliver and I also felt inspired by seeing what he'd done. And so I think it's it feels like a good thing. And Oliver and Jamie have been really like supportive and have been a big part of Lifetime. Jamie did some additional production and gave, like we worked on it together. Oliver, I asked him for feedback on the songwriting and everything. And there was one bit I was about to send it to be mixed, and he said, "Oh no!" Like I sent it to him, and he said, "There's that one bit you sang out a bit more. Where's that gone? That was good." And as I went back through all the files, like found it, put it back in. Yeah, so it was great.
That's amazing. And are you continuing to? You said that you started this by writing songs for other people. Is that something that you are going to continue to do or are doing?
Yeah, I'd love to. Right now, I'm just kind of putting all of my time and energy into just finishing this album. But for me, I think once this album's done, and if there's any gap before we start on things for the XX, I would love to. I think getting the chance to sit and work with the person that's going to sing the song is a beautiful thing. To be able to help them get a story out of their mind. Mm-hmm. But there are oftentimes I got told, if you want to work with a big pop star, you're never going to be in the same room as them. And I was like, that's fine. But I think that my dream, I like being able to have a conversation with someone and not just be like, I wrote this song, you sing it. But I mean, of course, yeah, I would obviously do that too. But
mm-hmm. Well, I love hearing that you learn so much from working with other people, and I think that will make the XX better.
Thanks, yeah.
I mean, and you've learned, and you made your own music better. So that's great to hear. And
thanks so much.
And I can't wait to listen to the rest of the album and for it to properly come out. So
thanks so much. Well, I appreciate that.
Thank you for setting aside some time so late at night.
No, it's fine. Thank you. I'm gonna have a very late dinner now, actually.
So. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.
You too. Bye.